Hi everyone, it's Judy here at River City Sewing, and today we're going to be unboxing the new Bernina L850 overlocker. Now this is exciting because this is Bernina's own overlocker. It's been developed over many years. So we're going to do the 850 and show you what comes in the box, what accessories, how it threads. Okay, so now we've got it out of the box. It's looking really good. I don't want to sort of go into this one until we get through all the accessories that have come in with the machine. So out of the box came the dust cover. So it's got quite nice sides that have been reinforced, but a soft cover to go over the top so it'll hold its shape a little bit better. Well, that's really great. It'll keep your sew area tidy and keep dust out of your machine. So these are a really great option that comes in. The next one is our knee lift. So we're going to be using that a little bit later. So that's our knee lift to raise and lower the presser foot using the knee, just like your Bernina sewing machine, or you know, the whole knee lift system is very similar to that. So that's in the box. The next one is the trim tray. Okay, so that'll go on the front. So we're going to leave that just here because we might need that soon. The foot control. Foot control has the heel needle up down half stitch position, so that looks very similar to the regular Bernina sewing machine feet with that function. So that's a really nice function to have with an overlocker, so that you can keep your hands on your fabric and do the half stitch, which is really great. So that's there. We're going to need that shortly, so I'm just going to pop it aside. Obviously, power cord, can't do anything without that, right? So we're going to have that one in the box, so we're going to plug that in shortly. Now, Bernina put in some Ceracore for us, so that's really lovely. So we've got thread to get started, good quality thread from Metla. And we have an accessory tin, Bernina branded, with little feet on it so it doesn't run around the table, which is a really nice touch. Let's have a look and see what's inside this one. So we have spool holders that go on the back of the machine, on the back, and we'll put them on in a sec. You've got 4 of those. I might put them inside the lid, that way we can sort of see them. Okay, so you've also got some thread nets. Now, a lot of people ask what these are for. They're to go over your thread so that it doesn't drop, or if you have really finicky types of threads that keep wanting to drop off the reel. The thread net's there just to control them with a little bit of pressure, and it allows the thread to come off. So things like when we're regularly sewing, things like metallic or quite silky, heavy threads can sometimes drop underneath the reel, and then they get stuck, and then, you know, all kinds of things happen. So thread nets work really well for those kinds of fussy threads. So there's 4 of these, 1 for each spool if we want to use them. We don't generally need to use them all the time, but it just depends on the thread you're using, and if you're doing some more decorative work, then these will come in really handy. We have some spool caps. So if we're using smaller reels, this will hold the thread on the spool so it doesn't jump about as you're overlocking, and you've got 4 of these, so 1 for every spool, which is really good. Now, this is one that we've got to make sure we know where this piece is. It's a little tiny wire, and that is designed if something gets clogged in the threading ports for the air, that we can guide that through and help thread that particular port. Now, sometimes with the thread they'll get a little bit linty, so these are designed so that it can clear those thread ports, so that the air can run through really nicely. So don't lose that one. It's very fine, and it looks like the plastic bag is empty, but believe me, it's not. And that one you'll need to keep in a safe place, so keep it in the tin if you're not using it. Okay, so we have some sewing and overlocker oil with a little applicator from Bernina in there with their brand on it. Now, this one, it's got a innovative oiler pen. So if you have, you know, you get through one of these, come and see us and we can get you another one of those. As you use your overlocker and your machines, it's good to have these pens. They've got a really fine tip, so it gets into the areas where it's supposed to go. So they're available as a spare part from us here. So this one comes with a machine. So you're going to have that one for a while because, you know, there's quite a bit of oil in there. So that's good to have near your machine. So the last one in here is a right seam guide. Before I do that though, I've got to show you a couple more things that were part of your accessories. And of course, it's your user manual, okay, your warranty card, and your accessory guide, which is fabulous because it's been bound now with the rings. Fantastic. Fantastic. And excuse me, I've just dropped one. This is all about the stitches that you can do and the setups for the machine. So I've just popped those accessories aside now, and we're going to actually have a look at the machine and take some of the foam and the packing off and all those kinds of things, just so that you can get a closer look as well. So when it comes like this, it has this foam and tapes on the front. So this is just to protect the covers whilst it's being in shipping. So the blue tapes are pretty strong, so just go through. Use my back, but sometimes you've just got to get in there and pop that off. Okay, so there's another one here at the top where the handle is. Oh, that tape's really strong. It wasn't going anywhere. All right, so now our protective foam is gone. And now we have a better look at the machine itself. It's, you know, I was expecting, you know, a large machine, but this is quite a big footprint, which is lovely. It's solid. You know, it feels really solid on the table. So now I'm going to show you the back of the machine and the spool holders. And this is, you've got 5 spool holders here. Even though it's a 4-thread machine, they've given us 5 spool holders, okay? So you could have one as a spare, just so that you were doing some decorative work and you wanted to run different colours, you could store one on the machine. We've got 4 thread posts up here on the top, and I'm just going to drop this thread stand down. Actually, I might take it off and I can show you a closer view. So the thread stand has been colour coded so that it matches the colour coding instructions of how to thread on the machine. So that makes sense, right? So you'll always know which colour needs to go in what position. All right, so this thread tree only goes in one particular way, and that's how it would sit with sort of the curve towards the back of the machine. And you can adjust this thread tree so they click in with this little tiny, I don't know what you call it, but I call it like a ball, a bit like when you extend a umbrella, and it clicks in. So if you want to adjust the height, it's quite tall. So if you only want to have it halfway, you can drop that first one down and you've still got the other one locked into place. Now, when this goes on the machine, there's a little tab. You can see that on the back of the spool stand, and there's a little notch in the back of the receptacle here. So that's how it sits. And then you're ready to start threading your machine with the thread tree. Now, these spool cap holders, now they've got a little wedge inside, so they sit over these guys at the back. They are a little bit tight when you first use them, so just watch. If you hold the actual spool holder here, get your spool cap, put it on the top, and just push gently, and then it'll go down there. So just got to watch because sometimes that'll push down. So just a little bit firm and pop it down. Okay, so just hold it from the top and push it in. Might seem a little bit complicated, but you'll get the idea when you get a feel of those spool caps. If you use the overlocker cones all the time, these are a great thing to have on your machine because it'll stop those overlocker cones from jumping about. If you mainly use things like resent or more colourful decorative sort of threads where on the smaller spools, you may want to put them straight onto this with the spool cap on the top. That way they don't jump about. Okay, so that's what these do. So smaller reels, pop it on, it'll hold that thread in place. And then with these guys here, it covers some of that gap underneath the cone so that it sits firmly. Now I'm going to put all these on because we're using cones today for all the colours. So I'm going to put them on and come back and we'll have a look at the front of the machine. It's always hard to find the right camera position so that I'm not reaching in front. So I apologise if I have. So now we can see the front of the machine. On the side, we have our hand wheel, place for our connection for our power cord and foot control. We have differential feed and we have our stitch length here. So these are all numbered here in the front. Now on the front of the machine is where all of our tension and our color coding comes into play. So as we've shown you before, the thread tree, I'm just going to drop that down a little bit so you can see the colors. If you can see that there. So thread tree starts with red, blue, green and yellow. So these now relate to these threads here on the front. So this is for our lower looper thread is red, our blue upper looper, our green right hand needle and our yellow left hand needle. Okay, so that's where the color coding comes into play. So it's quite easy to see now and it makes a little bit more sense. As you go through, the machine has little elements color coded so you know exactly the right thread and where it should be, where it should sit up here, which element it should go through up here and be threaded correctly. Isn't that great? That takes a lot of the guesswork out if you're new to overlocking and you know. And the nice thing is now that the beautiful fun feature on these new machines is that they're air threading the lower loopers. So the lower looper is red, again, all color coded. Upper looper, blue, again color coded. So there's no mystery about which one you're threading at any particular time. So that's really great. And it shows here on the inside, there's a little label stuck inside of how to thread it. So it would go from your thread tree here. There's a little guide in the back that's going to click in through here, down into the thread ports and out once we've threaded it. So that's going to be fun. We're going to show you how to do that as well. So on here, we've got really well descripted color coded elements. And we've got all the information here, so we don't always have to get the manual out. And also inside the front cover of the machine is another accessory storage zone. And this has got your brush, your needle threader. It's got a little screwdriver with an Allen key and it's got your pair of tweezers in there. Now the needles that this uses is the EL705 CF for Fred. Now CF is a shortening for chrome finish. Now a chrome finish needle is like a professional needle. It gives you much more, a better finish with your overlocking on various different fabrics. So a CF finish is a much more professional finish. So recommend that you always have another set of these needles in your stash with your accessories, because the last thing you want to be doing is putting two different size needles in the machine at any one time. So, you know, needles are an essential part of this. So make sure that you always got some extras in your stash. And then in this particular pack, there's 3 size 80 or size 12 needles and 2 size 90 or 14 needles. So there's a little bit heavier items that you might want to do. So you see that cover's open here now, and then to open up the looper cover here, we push this aside and this all open. And this shows you a little bit about the threading of the loopers and how it all works. So the next step is we're going to pop some thread on, and then we're going to show you how to thread it, show you how to thread the loopers and have a little bit of fun sewing with it. So we're going to come back once we get our threads on and we'll show you how to thread it up. Okay, so now we're going to be threading the L850. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start on the right side and we're going to be doing the lower looper, the upper looper and the 2 needle threads. So we're just going to go by the colour coding. So the first one is on the tree. We put the thread up on the red colour code. We're going to open this up and we're going to put the machine into threading mode. And to do that is to turn this dial here from 0 to the 1, and to turn the hand wheel towards you until these pipes click together. So now those pipes are ready to take the thread as it goes through. So let's start threading. So we've got to get in the back of this thread guide, there is a little clip. It has to go in there, come straight down, and then this first upper lower looper threading, we're just going to hold the thread just above the port and press the foot control, and it is now threaded. So that was really super easy. And we're going to swing out the foot and put that thread underneath the foot there. Okay, so nice and easy. Number 2, we're going to put the thread up on the blue section of the thread tree, come down and click it into the threading path, making sure it's clicked in right here at the top at the back, and come down. And we're just got to keep about an elbow length of thread here, just so that it's got enough to run through. So just hold your thread above that port and it goes through, and now it's threaded over here. So nice and easy. And the great thing about having this foot swing out is that you can get underneath the foot without interfering with the blade. So now that's done. We've finished the lower section of the threading, so we're going to turn back our pipes, adjust the looper guard, and we're done with the bottom section. Now we're going to do the 2 needle threads, and the first one here is the right needle, and we're going to be using the green thread path. And this time the thread comes underneath here, over this section where there's a green marker, green marker, green marker, and on the right side of this particular thread guide here. Now the next one is the needle threader. So you can move the needle threader to the left needle or the right needle. And at the moment we're going to go to the left needle. This time we're going to go to the right needle. So we need to make sure that this is pushed to show the green square in the needle threader. So now we're going to make sure that this guy here above the needle is clicked in, and we're going to use the needle threader to come down, come across, and our needle is threaded. Okay, so then we're going to click across our needle threader in readiness for the next one. So we're coming down into the yellow, and it clicks in there, and it comes down and across and into the section that's got yellow, up here where it's got yellow, and on here this side where it's yellow, and on the left side of this guide here. So now we're going to be threading. There we are. All right, so now we're threaded. So we're just going to push that foot out so we can put all of those threads underneath the foot, and I like to just pop them up here on the thread cutter. That way we've gets them out of the way. Okay, so here comes the test now, just to see what it sews like. Now we've threaded it all. So let's give it a shot, hey? Let's give it a go. The first take I did had no sound. So this take hopefully has got some sound. All right, so drop foot down. We're just doing a 4-thread overlocker. And all I can say is, wow. The sound is really quiet. It sews like a sewing machine, yet it's an overlocker, which I think is amazing. I think Bernina's done an amazing job. It really feels like a sewing machine. And here we are doing overlocking. It's just amazing. The air threading, I'm just going to go through that one more time because this is really important for everyone to make sure that you sort of see that. When we do the air threading is basically whenever we're doing any rethreading, just make sure that you always pull the thread, put foot up, pull the threads until you don't have any, threads left in the pipes, especially on that blue thread that we're going to be using now. So just remove this, take that down, turn this to threading. Pipes are already locked, so they're locked in place. So now we're just going to re-thread that looper thread. So we just have to hold it above the threading port. Just put the end of the thread maybe in there. Okay, and then just takes a little bit to get going. Press a foot and it's threaded instantly. Now the nice thing is that this foot moves off to the side, so you can drop that thread underneath it really super easy. So that way you're not getting threads caught anywhere or getting your fingers touching the blade or anything like that. So that's how super easy. When we're done, goes back to open and the pipes disengage. And the nice thing is with the overlock, inside here you can see all of the metal that's underneath as part of the chassis, which is really super nice. So close her up and we're back to overlocking once more. Now with doing rolled hen, you have the ability to move the little indicator here at the front to R. There is a setting up here on the stitch length that goes to R, and you would adjust this. And this is the kind of thing on that cheat sheet that you go through the cheat sheet and it tells you exactly what you need to do, which is really nice. Plus you get a lesson from us if you come and buy it from River City. So, it's super easy to use and beautifully quiet. I mean, it's one of those, I knew it was going to be a quiet machine, but I didn't expect it to be so quiet. So that's a real testament to the quality of the build and how much effort Bernina have put into doing this overlocker over a long time. So well done, Bernina. I think it's a great overlocker. And the testament is, for someone who's not an overlocker person can just, with a little bit of the cheat sheet and some help, start and be away and it's all done. So let's give us another sound of this machine. My table's a little bit bouncy, but the nice thing is it's got the sound of a Bernina, and there we have it. So Bernina L850 got 2 thumbs up. Well done, Bernina. I think you're going to enjoy it as well. Why don't you come in and see us and we'll have do another little dem for you, but great innovation from Bernina. Well done. You've really changed the game right here with this overlocker. So if you want to have a look at the L890, I'm just about to do a video of that too and put it up online, so you can have a look at them both and see what the differences are. But it's definitely well worth a look at the Bernina L850. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.